Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2019 Chevy Bolt. Little bit of backstory on the Chevy Bolt overall before I get into this particular one. The Bolt was Chevy's first true mass market EV. They had the Volts plug-in hybrids for years before this, and they electrified a couple of Sparks and Sonics as compliance cars, but this is their first true ground-up EV. As such, they put some serious engineering into this thing. It's got a 200 horsepower single front-wheel drive motor, a 60 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and it's good for about 200 miles of range real world. EPA estimates 238, but you get the AC cranking down here in the desert Southwest, you're gonna see that drop just a little bit. They're really punchy cars. Like, if you're heavy on the pedal, it's kind of hard to keep the front tires from spinning, which, as you can see, we've got fresh meat on the rear, but when we got this car ourselves, these fronts, they were pretty worn down. So we slapped a brand new pair of Vantage tires on the front, keep it as good and grippy and safe as we can. This particular Bolt has a kind of unique thing compared to some of the other and later Bolts. This one just has the J1772 charger. So this is level 1 and level 2 charging only. No level 3 fast charging, which kind of a double-edged sword there. On the good side, level 1 and 2 charging is way less stressful on the battery, so you get way lower levels of battery degradation over time because it allows the cells to rebalance themselves as they go. So it generally tends to end in a longer lasting and a healthier battery. Downside, no level 3 direct fast charging. So you can't just thump this thing onto a fast charger and pump direct current straight into the battery. So this is really a take it home every night, plug it in, and just let it charge overnight and then go. Treat it like a cell phone. When you get home, you plug it in. When you leave, you unplug it, and it's going to treat you very, very well. Like with a lot of compact EVs, this one does not have a frunk because GM decided to push everything as far forward and up as they can to maximize internal space. But what that means is all the bits that make it go are super accessible and super easy to see and check on up here. All you really have to worry about is your windshield washer reservoir here, and you've got coolant here, here, and here. These three coolants are for your battery pack, your inverter, and your drive motor. Over here, you've got the 12-volt accessory battery. Back there is your brake fluid reservoir, and this is your underhood fuse panel. Simple, easy, clean. Getting into the cargo area of the Bolt here, pretty deep cargo area like most EVs on a skateboard architecture. You have a really deeply recessed floor area here. Underneath, you have your storage, which has the tow hook, and I just cleaned the car, so it's not in here right now, but down in there is where you would hide, and we will have a 110 volt, just a standard plug into a wall outlet, charge at home, level 1 slow charger. The only other thing of note, buttons here and here to flip the headrests, and then you can just drop those things right on down, and now you have even more room. You can fit some pretty big stuff in here, especially since the ceiling lifts up just past the hatch. Good amount of usable space and just a clean, simple cargo area. In the captain's seat here on the Chevy Bolt. Like I said, when I was walking around outside, it's got nice lighter colored interior touch, like this kind of cool texture here and this smooth gloss white. It's like the opposite of piano black trim running around, with the lighter feeling and lighter colored fabrics for both of the seats. That even wraps around in the back, which I'll show you when I climb back there. But getting on to the good stuff, Chevy wanted to keep this super simple. So you've got your power windows, your power mirrors, and your power door locks here. This is a dimmer for the center gauge cluster, and these are your headlight controls. It has automatic headlights, so it's just super easy. You can turn them on manually or just leave them on auto and let them go. Up here on the wheel, standard cruise control, just on, off, set, resume, speed up, slow down. And over here are the controls for that center gauge cluster, which it has a couple of different screens and modes, so you can get nerdy and go through all of your different vehicle info, like real-time tire pressures, average speeds, time of trip, energy consumption, and all that. If you have your audio hooked up, you can control the radio all through the steering wheel here, even with phone. It has navigation built with OnStar, but you can just port your phone to the center screen and go with that. And then layouts just got a lot of customizability here, which is always pretty nice and fun to poke around with. One notable thing on the steering wheel, I'll pan the phone up here, this on the left-hand side kicks an extra high level of regen in when you're driving to slow you down a bit more aggressively without using the actual brakes, to basically recover more electricity and keep the battery as charged up as possible as you drive. Over here, big center touchscreen, and this is just a super simplified user interface that honestly, after 3 or 4 attempts on Chevy's part, they really got this one right. So you've got your home screen, kind of quick breakdown. You've got your 4 different windows here. You can edit them as you please. Your apps, so audio, phone, projection, mirrors your phone to the screen, settings, gallery for pictures, and then OnStar, which is Chevy's all own built-in everything. And then that button up there that just disappeared hotkeys you to your audio screen. Energy down here below gives you all sorts of nerdy stuff, showing the actual energy flow into the battery through regen, out of the battery to the motors, all that kind of stuff. Charging, you can set up charging speeds. So this has either an 8 amp or a 12 amp charge rate that it can use. It'll work on both 110 or 240 volts at level 1 or level 2. And you can set it to charge immediately or set your charging time to take advantage of cheaper off-peak electricity. And you can set a maximum charge level. So like right now we have it set just below 100%, right around 90%. You can make it 95 or even the full 100, but this is kind of just an easy way to really dial in the vehicle and everything how you like it, along with all of your charging options menu here and more information about efficiency and usage over your last few drives. Down below, you've got the HVAC controls here, which some of them are shown on the screen up above. With like most EVs, the best thing to do is just dial in the temperature you want, hit auto, and just let it run. It'll automatically heat the seats for you. It'll do whatever it can to make you and the car as comfortable as possible while using as little electricity as possible. Here's also some hard touch buttons for forward and back for the track, to turn off the radio, and a hard home button here in case you don't feel like playing with the touch screen. Down below that, just simple. It does have a sport mode, which again, when we drive it, you'll see this thing will light up the front tires if you're not careful, so that's pretty fun. Hazards, and then traction control off. Moving down below, pretty clever little storage cubby here. You've got a 12-volt charge outlet there, and a perfectly phone-sized cubby there. Down below, more storage, and with a little lip to keep stuff from sliding back while you're driving. You've got your 2 cup holders here. This is your shifter, and these work. You push the little paddle in on the side, pull it back for drive, down a second time for L, which is, they still consider it low, but that's really your one pedal driving, where it gives you full regen down to a stop, so you don't even need to touch the brake pedal. And then up to neutral, and up and over is your reverse. There's park, and there's an electronic parking brake to lock the rear wheels. Down below that, simple little cubby here. It's got 2 USBs and an auxiliary in for line in. Decent sized glove box. You got door pockets here and here with a little cutout for water bottles in each of them. And up above, just your standard fare, non-illuminated vanity mirrors and sun visors. Pretty deep center console here too. Like, that can eat most of my arm. So yeah, they definitely try to prioritize space and storage and ease of use in this thing. Very simple, very nice little car. Here in the back seat of the Bolt, there are not a lot of amenities, but you can see more of that nice light colored fabric carried throughout. You've got door pockets, power windows, and that's about it. Coat hooks there, and the child safety hooks here and here for child seats. But in amenities, what it doesn't have in amenities, it makes up for in a pretty decent amount of room. This seat is where I would drive, and at 6'1" and 260 pounds, I fit pretty comfortably back here. The back seats are elevated a little bit and pushed back, so even with some good headroom, it makes for not a particularly uncomfortable seating area. These hatchbacks definitely have advantages as far as the back seat is concerned. Before we leave the parking garage here, windows down so you can hear everything, but I want to show you what I mean with the drive mode. In drive, foot off the gas pedal, it will begin to creep, just like you'd expect from a normal gasoline car. But if I knock this down into low, it brings me to a stop without me ever touching the brake pedal, allowing for one pedal braking with harder levels of regeneration. So now if I accelerate, I take my foot off, it slows us right down. And if I pull that paddle, it stops even more aggressively with the regen. It's a pretty cool system. But let's scoot on out of here and get out on the road. I'm gonna shut up for a few seconds so you can listen to this thing as it goes down through the garage. And here, it's an EV. We know it's gonna be silent. The only thing it's gonna make, only noise it's gonna make is the noise that it has to make to alert pedestrians under a certain speed. But listen to the whir of the motor and listen to the suspension as we come down here. No undue noises or any sort of ugliness. And again, pull that paddle in if you need to really bring that to a stop without touching the brakes, and it brings you right to zero. And just a quick couple seconds of a pretty chill drive through some nicer urban roads at, pretty standard city speeds. Smooth and quiet, as you'd expect from a pretty new EV. Section of front road to myself, and I'll show you what I mean with this car in sport mode with a 0 to 40 to 0, full acceleration and full ABS braking. Ready, set, go. And all the way back down to 0. It'll scrabble for traction all the way up to 40 and then reel itself in like it's nothing. This thing's pretty fun. Give you a little bit better idea of how this thing feels at highway speeds that going all the way up on the highway. This is a pretty sedate and normal cruise here at like 65, usually what you see. It's quiet and really composed. Again, it's an EV. This being a hatchback, there's a little bit more road noise than you'd get with a sedan, but GM really did their homework with the noise, vibration, and harshness on this. All right, windows down for one last quick rip through a little residential kind of municipal area here with some pretty broken up and rough pavement. Got the windows open so you can again listen to the suspension, hear it do its thing, no clunks, rattles, or even squeaks from interior body panels. But it's amazing when you drive EVs just how much more you can hear when the sound of an engine is no longer there. Just that quiet hum of an engine in the background. Now that it's not there, it's amazing just how much more you can really, hear and how much quieter a vehicle can really be. But even like going over that big manhole cover and some of these big cracks in the pavement, it's a pretty well sorted little car. And also, again, if you want to be a bit of a hoon, it makes for a really fun commuter. Because, you can just park the tires. It's fun. And just like that, we are back at our yard in EV Alley to wrap everything up on our Chevy Bolt. If you like what you've seen so far and you want to see and learn more about this car, please go to our website, TucsonFutureClassics.com. There you'll find the full listing on this vehicle with a suite of photos, Carfax vehicle history report, and a written description. I do have to ask, however, when you're ready to come check this thing out in person, please reach out to us first. We're an appointment-only dealership, and we're only a crew of about 4 people. So giving us a heads up lets us best get the car ready to make the best introduction we can. When you are ready, give us a phone call, shoot us a text message, email us to info@TucsonFutureClassics.com, or hit us up on Facebook Messenger or Instagram. We're on both of those at Tucson Future Classics. But hopefully I've been able to tell you everything you could ever want or need to know to make an informed decision on this Bolt. And if I have done that, well, I've been Dylan. We'll see you soon.